The imminent launch of the satellite marks a breakthrough in China's development of quantum technology.
So furthermore, also have an third mission is to perform quantum teleportation between Earth and satellite.
These kinds of experiments have never been done in the sky.
A Chinese scientist stood in a laboratory in Tibet, 1,400 kilometers below a satellite racing across space at 18,000 miles per hour. He pressed a button. Instantly, the quantum state of a photon on Earth disappeared and reappeared on the satellite above. No physical object traveled between them. No signal crossed the void. The information simply vanished from one place and materialized in another, as if the laws of physics had been rewritten. Professor Pan Jianwei had just achieved something that physicists thought impossible: the world's first quantum teleportation from Earth to space. The feat was so technically challenging that Pan compared it to detecting a single photon from a lone match struck by someone standing on the moon. But China didn't just succeed. They shattered every previous record by more than 10 times. The date was 2017. While NASA was still developing plans for quantum experiments, China had already built and launched the world's first quantum communication satellite. While American scientists debated theoretical possibilities, Chinese researchers were demonstrating practical capabilities that would reshape global communications forever. Quantum teleportation sounds like science fiction, but the physics are real and the implications are staggering. Unlike science fiction transporters that move objects through space, quantum teleportation transfers information instantaneously across any distance. The original quantum state is destroyed at the source and perfectly recreated at the destination. No copying, no transmission delay, no possibility of interception. China's Messias satellite, named after an ancient Chinese philosopher, launched in August 2016 with a singular mission: prove that quantum communication could work from space. The satellite cost $100 million and represented over a decade of preparation by Pan's team. Most experts thought the experiment would fail. The technical challenges seemed insurmountable. The satellite needed to maintain precise alignment with ground stations while traveling at tremendous speed. Atmospheric interference would scatter most photons before they reach space. Quantum states are incredibly fragile. The slightest disturbance destroys them instantly. Success required hitting a target the size of a pinprick from over 1,000 miles away, while both the target and the shooter were moving at different speeds. Pan's team solved problems that had defeated research groups worldwide. They developed ultra-precise tracking systems that could follow the satellite's path within millimeters. They created crystals that could generate millions of entangled photon pairs per second. They built telescopes capable of detecting individual particles of light against the cosmic background. The breakthrough came during a night pass over Tibet in 2017. The Messias satellite generated pairs of entangled photons using specialized crystals aboard the spacecraft. One photon from each pair was transmitted to the ground station in Ali, Tibet. The other remained with the satellite as it continued its orbit. When researchers measured the quantum state of a photon on the ground, they could instantly transfer that exact state to the photon in space. The process worked exactly as quantum theory predicted. Measuring one photon instantly affected its partner, regardless of the distance between them. Einstein had called this spooky action at a distance, and refused to believe it was real. Chinese scientists proved Einstein wrong on a scale he never imagined. Quantum teleportation enables something even more valuable than moving information instantly. It creates perfectly secure communication that cannot be hacked, intercepted, or decoded by any known method. The security comes from fundamental physics rather than mathematical algorithms that clever programmers might eventually crack. Traditional encryption relies on complex mathematical problems that are difficult but not impossible to solve. Quantum encryption relies on the laws of nature themselves. Any attempt to intercept a quantum message automatically destroys it, alerting both sender and receiver to the security breach. The eavesdropper learns nothing while revealing their presence. China demonstrated this capability in September 2017 with the world's first intercontinental quantum-encrypted video conference. Officials in Beijing conducted a secure call with colleagues in Vienna, Austria. a distance of 7,600 kilometers. The encryption keys were distributed by the Mischius satellite using quantum teleportation. No supercomputer on Earth could break the encryption, because breaking it would violate the fundamental laws of physics. The implications for military and intelligence communications are profound. Nations that master quantum communication can exchange information that enemy intelligence services cannot intercept. Battle plans, diplomatic negotiations, and state secrets become truly secure for the first time in human history. The country that controls quantum communication networks gains decisive advantages in both conflict and peace. China understood these implications and acted accordingly. The research program received massive government support and operated under tight security. Pan Jianwei, the lead scientist, was given resources that American researchers could only dream of. The Chinese Academy of Sciences committed to building a global quantum communication network by 2030. While China was launching quantum satellites, American space agencies were still debating whether such missions were feasible. NASA's approach to quantum communication remained cautious and underfunded. The agency preferred incremental research over ambitious demonstrations that might fail and embarrass officials. The Chinese success caught American policymakers off guard. Intelligence agencies had dismissed quantum communication as too experimental for practical application. Military planners assumed any breakthrough would come from American laboratories, not Chinese ones. The assumption proved catastrophically wrong. Nicholas Giesen, a quantum physicist at the University of Geneva, delivered a blunt assessment after China's achievement. China has taken the leadership in quantum communication. The statement marked a fundamental shift in scientific prestige. For the first time since World War II, another nation had achieved a breakthrough in fundamental physics that America could not match. NASA responded by announcing plans for a National Space Quantum Laboratory in 2018. The program would use the International Space Station to test quantum communication between ground stations. But the announcement came a year after China had already demonstrated the capability. America was playing catch-up in a field it had helped create. The delay reflected deeper problems in American science policy. Quantum research was scattered across multiple agencies with conflicting priorities. The Defense Department, NASA, and the National Science Foundation all funded quantum projects that rarely coordinated with each other. China's centralized approach allowed faster decision-making and resource allocation. American researchers also faced budget constraints that their Chinese counterparts avoided. Pan Jianwei's team received whatever funding they needed to succeed. American scientists wrote grant proposals for years before receiving modest amounts that covered only portions of their research goals. The funding gap translated directly into capability gaps. Quantum teleportation exploits one of the strangest phenomena in physics: quantum entanglement. When two particles become entangled, measuring one instantly affects the other, regardless of the distance between them. The connection appears to operate faster than light, violating Einstein's theories about the maximum speed of information transfer. Creating entangled particles requires extraordinary precision. The Mischius satellite carries a sophisticated laser system that fires photons into specially designed crystals. The crystals split some photons into pairs that share quantum properties. These entangled pairs maintain their connection even when separated by thousands of kilometers. The satellite distributes entangled photons to ground stations using highly accurate beam steering. The spacecraft must point its lasers within tiny fractions of a degree while traveling at orbital velocity. Atmospheric turbulence constantly shifts the beam path, requiring real-time corrections. Most photons are lost to space or atmospheric absorption, but enough survive to maintain quantum connections. Ground stations use sophisticated telescopes to collect the scattered photons and detect their quantum states. The measurements must be extraordinarily precise because quantum states are defined by properties like photon polarization that can only be measured probabilistically. Multiple measurements of identical quantum states build up statistical pictures that reveal the underlying information. The teleportation process itself involves a complex sequence of measurements and operations. To teleport a quantum state from location A to location B, both locations must share entangled particles. Location A performs a joint measurement of the state to be teleported and its entangled particle. This measurement destroys both the original state and the entanglement, but generates classical information about how to recreate the state. The classical information is transmitted to location B through normal communication channels. Location B uses this information to manipulate its entangled particle, transforming it into an exact copy of the original quantum state. The process transfers the quantum information without ever transmitting the quantum state itself through space. China's success triggered a worldwide quantum arms race as nations scrambled to develop their own capabilities. The European Union launched the €1 billion quantum flagship project to coordinate research across member countries. Japan, Canada, and Singapore initiated quantum satellite programs. The United States increased funding for quantum research, but remained years behind China's demonstrated capabilities. The competition extends beyond scientific prestige to economic and military advantages. Quantum communication enables secure financial transactions that cannot be hacked by criminal organizations or foreign governments. Quantum encrypted diplomatic communications protect sensitive negotiations from intelligence agencies. Quantum-secured military networks provide commanders with unbreakable communication channels. China leveraged its early lead to build the world's largest quantum communication network. The Beijing-Shanghai Quantum Link, completed in 2017, spans over 2,000 kilometers using fiber optic cables and trusted relay stations. The network serves government agencies, financial institutions, and defense contractors with quantum-encrypted communications that foreign intelligence services cannot penetrate. The terrestrial network integrates with satellite-based quantum communication to provide global coverage. Chinese officials can now communicate securely with embassies, military units, and commercial partners worldwide using quantum encryption. The capability provides strategic advantages in diplomacy, intelligence, and military operations that other nations cannot match. China has begun offering quantum communication services to international partners through the Belt and Road Initiative. Countries that adopt Chinese quantum technology gain access to secure communications, but also become dependent on Chinese infrastructure. The arrangement resembles China's approach to 5G telecommunications, where technical cooperation creates strategic dependencies. Quantum communication represents more than a scientific breakthrough. It's a military game changer that could reshape global power balances. Nations with quantum-secured communications can coordinate military operations without fear of enemy interception. Battle plans, troop movements, and intelligence reports become truly secure for the first time in warfare history. China's military applications of quantum technology extend beyond communication to sensing and computing. Quantum radars can detect stealth aircraft by exploiting quantum interference patterns that traditional radars cannot access. Quantum computers can break conventional encryption systems that protect enemy communications and financial networks. The People's Liberation Army has integrated quantum communication systems into its command and control networks. Military units can now receive orders through quantum encrypted channels that enemy intelligence agencies cannot monitor or disrupt. The capability provides operational security advantages that could prove decisive in conflicts where information superiority determines outcomes. Chinese defense contractors are developing quantum sensors for submarines that can detect minute magnetic field variations caused by enemy vessels. Quantum timing systems provide GPS-independent navigation that remains accurate even when satellite navigation is jammed or spoofed. Quantum encryption protects military communications from cyber attacks that routinely compromise conventional networks. The technology also enables new forms of asymmetric warfare. Nations with quantum communication capabilities can conduct intelligence operations while protecting their own communications from retaliation. Quantum encrypted command systems remain secure even when enemy hackers penetrate conventional networks. The advantages multiply as quantum technology integrates with artificial intelligence and autonomous weapon systems. The United States faces difficult choices in responding to China's quantum leadership. Attempting to match Chinese capabilities requires massive investments that may never achieve parity. Focusing on alternative technologies might yield better results, but risks falling further behind in quantum applications. Either approach consumes resources that could address other national priorities. NASA's Quantum Laboratory program represents a compromise approach that satisfies political demands for action without committing to China-scale investments. The International Space Station experiments will demonstrate American quantum capabilities while avoiding the costs of dedicated quantum satellites. But incremental progress cannot close gaps created by China's comprehensive quantum programs. American commercial companies have entered the quantum communication market with their own approaches and technologies. These efforts might eventually surpass Chinese capabilities through innovation rather than massive government spending. But private research lacks the coordination and resources that enabled China's rapid progress in quantum satellite technology. The classified nature of quantum military applications complicates public debate about appropriate responses. Citizens cannot evaluate policy options without understanding the strategic implications of quantum technology gaps. Politicians make funding decisions based on incomplete information that may not reflect actual national security requirements. International cooperation offers potential solutions, but also creates new risks. Sharing quantum research with allies could accelerate American progress while maintaining advantages over China. But cooperation also risks technology transfer that might benefit Chinese intelligence agencies through allied research programs or commercial partnerships. Quantum communication promises to revolutionize industries that depend on secure information transfer. Financial institutions could process transactions using quantum encryption that eliminates fraud and identity theft. Healthcare organizations could share patient data through quantum networks that guarantee privacy protection. Legal firms could communicate with clients using quantum systems that preserve attorney-client privilege. China's early lead in quantum technology positions its companies to dominate emerging quantum industries. Chinese firms can offer quantum communication services that foreign competitors cannot match. The advantages extend beyond technology to manufacturing, installation, and maintenance of quantum systems that require specialized expertise. The global quantum communication market could reach hundreds of billions of dollars as organizations upgrade from conventional encryption to quantum-secured systems. Nations that control quantum technology will capture disproportionate shares of this market while establishing technological dependencies that last for decades. China has begun commercializing quantum communication technology through state-owned enterprises and private companies with government backing. The approach mirrors China's strategy in solar panels, electric vehicles, and 5G telecommunications, using government support to achieve market dominance that becomes self-sustaining as economies of scale reduce costs below foreign competitors. American companies face the challenge of competing against Chinese firms. They receive unlimited government funding and technical support. The competition resembles Cold War technology races, where national prestige and security interests drove innovation beyond normal market incentives. Success requires coordination between government and industry that America has struggled to achieve in recent decades. Quantum teleportation represents the beginning of a communication revolution that will transform how information moves around the world. Future quantum networks will enable instant, secure communication between any 2 points on Earth or in space. The technology will make possible new forms of distributed computing, where quantum processors share information instantaneously across vast distances. China's early lead in quantum communication technology could persist for decades as the country builds quantum infrastructure faster than competitors can catch up. The advantages will compound as quantum systems become integrated with artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, and advanced manufacturing that depend on secure, high-speed information transfer. The implications extend beyond Earth as humanity expands into space. Quantum communication will enable real-time coordination between spacecraft, planetary bases, and orbital facilities separated by millions of kilometers. Nations that master quantum space communication will lead human expansion into the solar system, while others remain dependent on their infrastructure and expertise. China has already demonstrated quantum communication between continents using satellite relays. Future missions will extend quantum networks to lunar bases, Mars colonies, and deep space exploration vehicles. The country that controls space-based quantum communication will dominate commerce, science, and security throughout the solar system. The transformation has already begun. with China's successful teleportation of quantum states from Earth to space. The achievement marked humanity's first step toward a quantum-connected civilization, where information moves instantly across any distance. Whether America can catch up or will remain permanently behind depends on decisions being made today about research priorities, funding levels, and technological strategies. The Chinese scientists who successfully teleported a quantum state to space didn't just achieve a scientific breakthrough. They demonstrated that the future of communication, security, and global power has already arrived. And for now, China controls it. Anyway, that's it for the video. Bye!